So this is gonna be one of those videos that's never fun or easy to talk about because it just gets a little bit too personal. So hey there guys, Erin here again, and by the title you'll know what I'm talking about today, and that is binge eating, overeating, and how keto has helped to cure those habits within me. And it kind of helped me get past some bad eating habits, bad relationships with food, and just having a healthy understanding of what food is and when I need it, why I need it, and how I need it. So if you're new to my channel, my name is Erin, and I am somebody who's on a ketogenic diet. Being on keto has helped me to lose about 20 pounds and has significantly changed the way my body looks. I think to kind of start this whole story, or this whole piece, is to kind of understand and you really have a real talk with what my relationship is with food, and that is that food can be very social. It can be something that cures boredom. It can be something that we consume passively, and it can be something that we just, oh, I'm hungry. What am I hungry for? This. I'm gonna eat this, and that's what I'm gonna have. So we can have a very distant relationship with food. And I think for me, and as I move forward and as I go on with my health and everything, I need to have a very positive, very, open, warm, structured relationship with food. So my story goes back. I basically gained weight in college. I gained a significant amount of weight, and I can blame it on a couple of factors. So the first one is not having a healthy understanding of what food is, why I need it, when I need it, how I need it, and what combinations do I need it. Not having that, is basically the foundation for why I got into a pattern of overeating, binge eating, crash dieting, all of that. So the second factor was that I was not personally, I didn't have a good amount of self-esteem. And I think when I didn't have a good enough amount of self-esteem, I sought out other things to kind of fill the holes, replace the feelings, get the highs, you know what I'm saying? Like the high from sugar, the high from a carb, the satisfaction of eating something delicious, and just not having the understanding that I could have those sensations, from proper foods, not having that education of, where to get foods from, and that I could still have that satisfaction. I, went with the cheap, easy, quick resources. So lots of fast food, lots of junk, lots of potato chips, lots of pizza, just lots of things that weren't necessarily going to make me be healthy and make me be, satisfied ever. Like, I know that during this time, and what kind of led to the cycle of overeating and binge eating, was the fact that I never felt satisfied by the food I was eating. And so I just kept eating, kept snacking. My typical schedule would be, cereal, which would never get me full, to a mid-morning snack, to a full lunch after that mid-morning snack, to another snack in the afternoon, dinner, and then snacks again in the evening. And all at the same time, I was really not drinking enough water. I was drinking soda. I was drinking just things that were horrible, empty calories, just never, ever, ever, taking care of myself, because I didn't have that education. I didn't have that foundation. And so without that relationship, and then never feeling satisfied, never eating meals that made it so I was satisfied, I fell into the pattern of overeating. So the last thing that I feel like kind of contributed for me personally was that I was not in a relationship that was healthy at that time. I think you can be two decent people on your own, and then when you come together, you've got your negatives, they've got their negatives, and they just create a toxic situation. So I was with somebody who I would say was very critical, and because they were critical, I felt super critical of myself. So my self-esteem went down more. So the thing that made that relationship work was the fact that every once in a while they'd give me this terrific compliment, and it would almost be the same as like getting a sugar rush. It'd be like, oh, okay, this is why this is working. They really do like me, and everything's great, and I am desirable by this person. And so putting all of my self-esteem on somebody else really removed it from my own self. And so I, didn't feel like I had ownership of being proud or happy of myself. So I got into the vicious cycle of just eating to kind of satisfy my, needs to feel, happiness, satisfaction, pleasure from food, whatever it was. And I also got into the pattern of being very absent-minded with my eating, where I would associate sitting on the couch or sitting down to study or sitting down where I wasn't going to do anything but relax with having a snack at that same time. So I was probably eating, an excess of calories. I was probably eating anywhere from 2,500 calories or more a day, and that packed on the pounds pretty quickly. Because I was never eating these calories, in one setting and allowing myself to get fully full and having that register, I would just graze all day long and just have periods where if I really felt the need that I was just not getting satisfied, I would just binge and overeat to the point where I would get that satisfied feeling. But it was really just more of a pattern of all day overeating, getting really upset about something, and then binging until I was just so full and felt satisfied then. So I gained a lot of weight. I've talked about it before. I was at my heaviest my senior year, or starting my senior year of college. I then proceeded to try to fix that issue, and I realized I was overeating, and I realized I was having this negative relationship with food. So I started becoming very obsessive about my food, and I started to pack all my food in 100-calorie like Ziploc bags and restricting my calories to about 1,000 a day. And I would measure everything out. I would count everything out. If it was a half a chip, I would try to break another chip so that way I would have that full chip, so I knew exactly how much I was eating. And this was before things like MyFitnessPal. I carried a notebook around and I would write down everything. I was super obsessive about it. And because I was essentially going from overeating to starving, over the course of a year, I ended up losing about 50 pounds. And I got down to about the weight that I am now. And I felt pretty amazing. I felt like, yeah, this totally worked. I know exactly what I'm doing. I know how to be healthy. I know how to totally take care of myself. So I finished college, and I was starting my first job, and it was at, I wasn't overweight anymore, and I was at a healthy weight. And so I felt like I knew how to, handle myself. And I went back to eating more than I needed. I went back to eating foods that probably weren't the best. At this time, I started to be more mindful about processed foods and eating clean. So I was essentially eating the junk food at Whole Foods and thinking that that was healthy. Like, I've got this down. I know that I just have to eat unprocessed clean foods. Like, that was bad. I shouldn't have done that. But now I'm going to drink, diet organic soda, and I'm going to, eat popcorn, but it's going to be organic popcorn, and that's how it's going to be good. And not really taking into account what it was that I was eating. And I would overeat these things, and because I would fall into the traps of sitting down and being bored and overeating. Over this time, I really didn't have any emotional kind of pulls or issues or anything, so I wasn't binge eating, but I was overeating. I was doing the same pattern where I would essentially graze all day, and again, gained weight. During this time, I had 2 kids, so there's pregnancies involved, and gaining weight with that, but I could have eaten a lot cleaner. And I did do various diets after each one to try and lose weight, but I never felt like I had the best education, the best relationship with food, and the best understanding going forward of what I needed to do in order to fuel my body. And again, I just never felt satisfied eating those foods because I never got that trigger in my brain where my brain says, yep, you're full, you can stop eating now. So now to get to the point where I'm at now, keto has definitely helped me to stop binge eating. Keto makes it so that I am always full. I have issues now finishing my plates. It's almost like when I sit down for a meal now, being in ketosis, being fully fat adapted, I take 2 or 3 bites and I have to take a break within my meal now because my brain is already immediately assessing like, oh, we're already still burning the fat from your body, so do we really need you to eat a lot? I don't know. Let's take a break mid-meal. So I'm now finding myself stopping and having, very, very full feeling after just a couple bites of food. And so I feel like keto is helping me overcome my overeating habits because I'm never getting to the point where I feel hungry. And because I'm running off fat as fuel, I feel like the fat on my body is getting burned, obviously, but because I'm running off of that, whenever I do start to eat something, even if I know I'm doing it out of boredom, which I don't really do anymore, but if I did, I immediately get the trigger where it's like, we're good, you don't need to eat anymore, and I've got that uncomfortable full feeling. So it's like my body is like, hey, we finally figured it out, and we're good. You don't need to spend all day overeating and having to store it. We're just gonna continue to burn off what is on your body. So you don't need to add any more. We're good. And you're satisfied, and just stop doing what you're doing. It's like my body is telling me no. And sending the signal to my brain saying you gotta stop. I'm also finding that since going keto, I no longer have food addictions or cravings. I really crave nothing at this point. I can pretty much honestly say I have zero sugar cravings. I very rarely crave things like breads or pastas. I make my own like pizza crust that I've shared with you guys, and very rarely do I even crave pizza anymore, which is hilarious to me because that would have been my favorite food prior to going keto, and now it's kind of just like, yeah, I have a very like nonchalant feeling about food. When I go to make food or go to eat food, I don't sit there and think like the emotional response with it. I just sit and feel like, okay, well, this is the functional thing. I'm low on my protein so far today, so I need more protein. I better eat more protein in this meal. I'm getting higher on my carbs, so I should probably, maybe not have as many carbs in this meal and go a different source for fueling myself if I'm hungry. And it's, really just created a relationship where me and food are very functional. We are like the old married couple. Like, I cook the meals, they load the dishwasher when we're done eating, and we go to bed. Like, we're just very boring in that sense as far as our needs go. That doesn't mean that I don't still really enjoy food. I will make a great steak. I will make myself a treat. I will make, a wonderful salad. I cook to make myself, still have those sensations of enjoying the food. I want to enjoy the food, but I no longer have the craving for it, the insatiable need to just go, gimme. It's just more of a, fine enjoyment of food. I no longer snack. I no longer, when I sit down and watch TV, I feel like my mental clarity has changed so much that I no longer feel absent-minded. I actually feel like I'm more engaged when I'm watching shows instead of passively watching them, which has made that whole scenario more enjoyable. But I've also found that I'm less likely to actually watch TV, and I'm more likely to be active or wanting to read a book or wanting to, even just sit on my computer and learn about something. I'm finding that, the lethargia is more gone too. The last thing I'll just leave on is the fact that I do feel like, again, keto has given me a very healthy structure. And it's one of the reasons why I don't do tracking my macros or tracking my calories to a precise amount, measuring out all my food. I went through that period where I was essentially starving myself and being very obsessive and having a very negative relationship with my food. I want to have a very positive, very communal relationship with it where I look at it for what it is and what it will give me, and it gives me those things and I move on. Being keto has made it so I have a very clear limit of how many carbs I want or need in order to stay in ketosis, and that's really the only thing I need to track. Otherwise, I just eat whatever I want when I'm hungry until I'm full, and then move on. And as I move forward with this, and as I decided to go on keto, I didn't want to do a diet where I was obsessively tracking everything. I wanted to have a diet that I was educated on, and I knew, okay, a cup of broccoli is this, I've said it before, a cup of spinach is that. I'm good with where my carbs are coming from, and I can move on, and I can be clean, and I can be focused, and I don't have to be, you know, emotionally taken down by my food. Binge eating is one of those things where when I was doing it, like, I just would go absent-minded. Like, I would just vacate my brain, and it would just be focused on getting that full feeling, getting that satisfied feeling, to the point where it would make me sick. And now I'm to the point where the second I feel any kind of fullness, I'm almost just like, all right, I'm done with food, stepping away, I'm gonna go work out, and then if I get hungry again after, I'll finish my meal then. Yeah, keto's given me the positive relationship with food that I've never had in my entire life, and I am very, very thankful for that. So yeah, this has been my kind of binge eating, overeating story. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. If you have found that you are able to kind of crave and curb your own overeating or binge eating through keto, and that you get the keto full feeling, go ahead and comment below. I would love to hear your guys' stories. But yeah, until next time, I hope you guys are doing good. I hope everything's going great on your own keto journey, and I will see you guys later. Bye.